Prescott Van Meyer III, sommelier from home. Today, another rapid fire with Modello's Aguas Frescas. And the four flavors we have in front of us are Flor de Jamaica, Pepino a limon, Sandia, and Piña. For the gringos, that is hibiscus, cucumber and lime, watermelon, and pineapple. So I am holding out hope that this is not quite the hard seltzer tradition that has really taken over a lot of spaces in the last few years. And I noticed a rapid deterioration of the quality of a lot of those hard seltzers over time. It does say cerveza on top. So again, I'm wondering, they are definitely going for some nice fresh flavors. I do like the artwork. The artwork tells me that this should be very fruity, very light, very refreshing. I like that it's a little bit smaller can too, you know? Feels like, yeah, it feels like 12 ounces. Yep, 12. So I nailed it. Very good with my hands. Little rat fingers, but they're sensitive. They're grippy and sensitive. All right, well, we're doing rapid fire, so let's get them open. We're gonna start with the Flor de Jamaica. A little fruity, a little yeasty. I'm wondering if this is a beer. No beer farts. Very nice, very nicely done. It was just a very flowery smell that came off right at the top, so well done there, Modello. This is hinting very nicely with the hibiscus flower itself, so very floral. Have a little bit of yeastiness kind of coming through. So my interest is piqued. Let's give it a taste. Definitely has some sweetness to it. Does not drink like a beer, does not feel like a beer in the mouth. It doesn't have any of that beer sort of aftertaste. You can tell it's pink coming out of the can, so they are going strong for the Flor de Jamaica flavor and color. Let's give it another taste. Doesn't taste beery, tastes sweet, but the mouthfeel isn't too thick or intense. Pretty refreshing, all things considered. I mean, it's kind of like a beery fruit punch. I gotta say, this is pretty authentic to Agua Fresca that you would get in Mexico, but sweeter, more fruit punchy forward, especially coming from Modello, especially coming from something that is known for being a beer. This is pretty good. I wish it was a little bit colder, but that's on me, that's not on Modello. Carbonation is a little bit more than normal, certainly more than like the hard seltzers. A little bit more in beer, following pretty closely to almost what a soda would be like. Yeah, there is a nice sourness to that comes in from the sweetness as well. A lot of these floral drinks, they can taste like laundry detergent, but that's not the case here. This has a nice subtle sourness to it that kind of makes you think of real fruit. Makes me think I'm just laying down in an orchard, you know? All the fruity smells wafted into my nose. I'm naked, but it's okay. No one's around. And it's just me and nature and the fruit. Anyways, let's go on to the next one. Pepino y limon. I'm looking forward to this one. I'm hoping it's nice and refreshing. No beer farts whatsoever. Excellent work there, Modello. Yeah, the cucumber and the lime, kind of coming right off the top. There's an authenticity to it that, very nice. Let's give it a sip. Very sweet, but it cuts away very, very quickly to the lime and the cucumber. It has a really nice, refreshing aftertaste to it. And this is actually really delightful so far. Sweeter than I thought they would be. That's okay. Again, I think I might make sure that this was in a bucket of ice water before I cracked one open. Get it kind of as cold as possible. On my summer day, that would absolutely hit the spot. Comes across a little bit like a limeade with just a little bit of cucumbers thrown in. You know, like I said, the sweetness is right there. I'm wondering if cutting it with ice would be a little bit of a gateway to a nice, refreshing drink. Really nice color to it. Very nice when it's colder like that. Cuts the sweetness quite a bit when you drop the temperature down. I can see this again. You got this in a bucket of ice water, cooler full of ice water. Get a really nice low temperature. We got some hot days ahead of us in the summertime. This might be in my cooler on the way to wherever I'm going. whether it be a Walmart parking lot for the night or, you know, a nice neighborhood with lots of free Wi-Fi access. Either way, these might be with me, although I can't drink inside the vehicle. Anyways, let's move on. I think we've come to expect that drinks, these type of cans with fruit in them, tend to think that maybe those are some synthetic, some not quite natural fruits, but I gotta say, I'm getting some really nice notes of the fruit coming out of the Modellos. The lime, the cucumber, earlier with the hibiscus. Really nice so far. So let's keep it going. We got Sandia, or watermelon. Well, may have spoken a little too soon. That authenticity. This is giving a little bit of sweet tarts, sort of a fake fruit flavor, but let's give it a taste. Not my favorite so far. Watermelon is definitely giving watermelon blow pop or Jolly Rancher vibes. Definitely made by a scientist who was told to cut any corner he could find. And all he had access to was those watermelons that grow in Japan that look like cubes. So he was literally cutting the corners off of that watermelon. Let's give it another taste. To go from the authenticity of the Flor de Jamaica, to go from the cucumber and lime, tasting pretty authentic, watermelon is a little bit of a disappointment. I will say this, it feels a little less sweet than the other ones, which is a benefit to me. I like these things to be refreshing. They're certainly made to enjoy during warm weather. So cutting down the sweetness, cutting down the amount of sugar, it's always something I'm looking out for. Again, the watermelon, not my fave. And I understand, watermelon is a fairly difficult flavor to get right. It's a bit more subtle of a fruit during the summertime. Very sweet, very watery, kind of similar to a cucumber, but doesn't have that huge fruit pop that you might be able to throw in there. So watermelon is difficult for everyone. I was hoping after the first two flavors that their watermelon would be fairly authentic, fairly nice to drink. Yeah, wasn't my favorite. All right, last but not least, Pina. I mean, that smells very close when you're smelling a fresh pineapple on your counter that you swore you weren't gonna let go bad. Oh, I'm totally gonna eat that pineapple. Oh, it went bad. We've all been there. Smelling like that. Let's give it a taste. Feels like the sweetest one so far. Not overpowering with the pineapple, but actually tastes pretty authentic. The sweetness to it kind of comes in as an aftertaste and doesn't quite feel authentic, but overall, that pineapple is pretty nice. I don't know, these are fairly authentic flavors. It's taking me back to my Cabana boy days, you know, bringing the tray of drinks out to Miss Henderson and her ilk. Little sip, make sure they're tasting just right. So close to getting the sugar mama at that resort. These are inspiring me though. Maybe I do have time to find a sugar mama, but not at a over 80s weekend at Club Med. Maybe some Cancun villa, some Mexicana, Mama de Azúcar. 65 tops. I learned my lesson from Miss Henderson. They just want to hit it and quit it. Learned my lesson the hard way. You know what they say about retirement homes. Highest STD rate in the country. Highest STD rate in the world. Right, Mrs. Henderson? You need to get that checked out. In fact, happy 98th birthday, Mrs. Henderson. I hope it's a real banger. She still Snapchats me, but too scared to open them. Got a backlog. Maybe after 3 or 4 of those, I'll open them up. See what the old gal sent me. Oh God.